Is it time for my review by collecting of the plastic? No, I'm sorry, Starfire. You're the wrong imposter. Oh. The original Batman mold has been repainted so many times that you can almost collect exclusively the original Batman and its different variations and still have a whole ton of pops. I don't mind it so much though because it is the original one and the mold is pretty simple. It does lend itself to repaints. I think these are some of the cooler ones. I definitely am going to pick all of these up except for maybe Harley Quinn as Batman because I don't need two of them. And I think it's more appropriate for her to be dressed up as Batgirl, I suppose. When I first saw the glam shots of these Impopsters, I thought the Two-Face one was the coolest one, and it was definitely one of the ones I was looking forward to the most. I think I got pretty lucky with this paint job, because there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong with it, with this half and half design, but it is pretty flawless. I really like the eye and the mouth. It reminds me of the animated series version of Two-Face. Really cool looking, really well done. You immediately recognize Two-Face when you see that. Even though this yellow and black, I'm not sure why they went with those colors, but they look good. But I think this is what totally makes it look like Two-Face. And of course the pinstriping. Even though the regular Two-Face would have like the pinstriping on the other side, like on his normal Harvey Dent side. But I understand why they put it on this side. And it looks cool. I think the only thing I would have liked better would be if his little like Batman superhero panties there were also half and half. Like this half be purple like the gloves and the boots and leave these black like these boots. I think that would have made it look totally half and half on the front. I guess you can get away with leaving the cape like that. Even though that would have been better half and half too. Purple cape, purple half underwear there. But besides that, I think this pop came out pretty good. Yeah, I really like it. This totally looks awesome. And if you're somebody that has a whole collection of just original Batman sculpted pops, this one's definitely going to look cool amongst all of those. I really like how they're keeping the black behind the superheroes, but they're putting different colors on the various Impopster boxes, and on hers, you see a little bit of Ivy behind there in the overall design. Because some of the lines in the past tend to have all the same boxes, just different character art. So I like how they're paying a little bit more attention to that. Makes it all look cooler when it's all together. I really hope that eventually we get a classic Poison Ivy, because I know they have that Poison Ivy from the video games out, but I think it's really ugly. I think it's one of the ugliest pops there is. It's just hideous, and Poison Ivy is supposed to be a beautiful character, so that pop doesn't do her justice. I hope they come out with a new one sometime in the future. But this one's pretty cool, and I think that this old school Batgirl mold is really awesome and one of the cutest pops. I like the way her hair is. And I'm really liking the way they did her boots with the little bats on them. Really cool. And they're kind of raised out too, so they're not going to mess up the paint on that. But speaking of the paint though, I do think that this Poison Ivy Impopster was rushed because when I picked her up, there was about 15 of them there, and literally all of them had horrendous paint jobs. Like, this was the best of them, and this one has flaws too. Like, her glove paint comes a little past the glove. Some of the hair is sloppy. See these little strokes there? And it is like that on both sides. But some of the ones there had it really bad. Like, just a really, really bad paint job on the hair. And the face mask line was very bad on almost all of them. Some of the eyes weren't lined up right. And even this one, you see it's not lined up 100% right. But the worst thing out of all of them was, you see these little leaves on here? Those are some kind of stamping or some kind of decals. I'm not sure exactly how they apply those, but they're obviously done by some kind of machine. And on almost all of them, except for like this one, the leaf design was coming out so far into her leg that I swear, like, it was really distracting. It's like the first thing your eye goes to. And it just looked like these little black lines. So it looked like Batgirl had become a hippie, if you know what I'm saying. I was like, what the hell? Like, what were they thinking, like, letting that go by? It just looked really bad to me. But this one was passable, even though this one still pokes out a little bit. but not too much. But yeah, if you're going to buy this Batgirl, Poison Ivy Impopster, definitely try to buy it in store so you can inspect the pop, because the paint jobs are horrendous. And if you're going to order this one, I mean, good luck, because I'm pretty sure you're going to get something horrid in the mail. And the Harley Quinn Impopster is also really eye-catching, and they decided to do the diamond motif for her box with red. Really cool looking. The same thing I said about the Poison Ivy Impopster, you can apply to this Harley Quinn Impopster. They had about 15 of them at the store, and they all had really big paint flaws. This was the best one. Just a little bit of sloppiness here on the hairline with a little bit of that black coming through, but that's about it. Everything else is pretty clean on this one. But I do notice that on this Impopster, they made the cape two-toned. Why they didn't do it on the Two-Face one, I have no idea. Obviously, it's something they can do, and I think it would have been even more appropriate on Two-Face. But they did it for Harley. They should have done it for both. And another thing that is kind of weird is if you notice that the cape in the back is gray, and they have a little bit of black coming through here and a little bit of the red. Okay, I understand what they're doing. It's like they're mimicking that the inside is gray, because if you look at this box, see how it's gray on the inside and you see just a little bit of the red and a little bit of the black curling through, which is cool. But if they were going to do that, they really should have stopped the black just on the edge here and the red just on the edge here. The way they went so far in with it, I mean, the cape isn't going to curl that much. So by doing that, it just kind of makes the inside look unfinished. It just looks like it was molded in gray vinyl, and they just forgot to paint it black and red all the way through. I think they either should have done black and red all the way through or stop the color on the edge. But it's a small thing because this is still a very striking pop. Now that I've nitpicked it all, I really do like it. I like the contrast of the red, white, and black. It just looks awesome. And just that white belt just looks really cool. And I do love the Batgirl mold with the way they did her boots and the way her hair pokes through. Super cute pop. I don't know about you guys, but I hope that one of the upcoming Ben Affleck Batman movies has the Riddler as the main bad guy, because yeah, he's not super like physically imposing. He doesn't have superpowers. He's not going to take over the world. But I do like the Batman stories where the bad guy is kind of more grounded and it just kind of turns into like a cat and mouse game with Batman. Heath Ledger's Joker wasn't physically imposing, but he was super clever. And some of the things he did in that movie actually reminded me of the stuff that the Riddler does. And that is considered one of the best Batman movies and villains, like, portrayed on the big screen of all time, you know, that Heath Ledger Joker. So if they did something similar with the Riddler, maybe not make him so, like, dark and crazy and, like, a total, like, anarchist, but make him super clever, have him come up with some really demented schemes for Batman to figure out. I think that would just be a really awesome, dark comic book movie, and I really hope they do that in the future. Because that Jim Carrey Riddler was, you know, a clown. And I liked it as a kid, but now watching it as an adult, it just makes me cringe. It's really bad. So please bring back the Riddler. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but also inspect this Riddler Impopster in store. Do not order him online because the chances of getting something with an unacceptable paint job are pretty high. The issues I encountered were around the face mask. This one was the cleanest one, but it's still not all that clean. And for some reason, this one had just a ton of like oil and just factory weirdness. Like it's still on here. I'm going to have to take like a wet rag to take all this off. But it just makes it seem like these were rushed a little bit. And it's a shame because this is a really cool line. I mean, who doesn't like the Batman's Rogue Gallery? If you're a Batman fan, or if you have just a lot of these Batman molds, you definitely got to add these. They just look really cool and they're very colorful. Like the green and the purple contrasting colors just look great. And the way they did all the question marks. And it was smart to add just the yellow belt just to break it up a bit and add a little splash of color in there. Really cool. I mean, they were really well designed. And if they're going to do repaints, I do like it when they put a little bit more thought into these. And they definitely did with these. Can't wait to get the other two, the Penguin and the Scarecrow. But I guess they're out next month or something. So far, GameStop is the only store I usually buy Pops at that seems to have these in stock. They did get a whole bunch of them though. Like when I went to go get Two-Face and Harley, they still had some Poison Ivies and Riddlers left. It could be because the paint jobs aren't great, so you might have to actually go on a real pop hunt and go to several different GameStops to find all 4 of these in great shape. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Is this the end of the video for the tube of you? Tell them to hit subscribe if they liked it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe. Thanks, Star. You are welcome, collecting of the plastic.